Good evening, everyone. We are going to wait for a few more minutes and then we are going to continue with the session. Steve Jobs once said that technology is nothing. What important is that you have faith in people, that they are basically good and smart, and if you give them tools, they will do wonderful things with them. With this inspiring quote, I, Srijana Das, welcome you all to our pre-hackathon session with one of our sponsor, Sportman. Postman. It is a well known that the software industry evolves quickly, and with every developer has to find a way to keep it up. New technology allow API developer to build performant, highly available, secure applicant more efficiently. APIs also offer their consumer more option for integrating them. Today's event is all about introduction to API using Postman. And to guide us, we have Ali Mustafa Sheikh, student community lead at Postman. So without wasting any further time, let's go over to it. Sir, you can take over the session from here. I think it's a network issue with the speaker. We'll wait for him for a few minutes. Okay, there is a network issue with our speaker, so we will wait for him. Okay, he's
Hey, hello everyone. I hope you're able to hear me now.
okay. It's very natural to have network issue. We will just wait. So until our speaker comes, how you guys are excited? Tomorrow, Hack for Bengal is going to be live. Are you ready with your ideas? Just let me know in the comment section. Pawan is saying yes, that he is very excited. Shakshi Goenka is saying yes. Debanjana Sarkar said it is her first time in hackathon. I wish you very best, Debanjana Sarkar. Okay, me and my team is ready. Arup Ganguly. I wish you all the best. Swastika Raut, yes, full ready, excited for tomorrow. Okay.
Hey, hello everyone. Sorry for that. I guess my browser crashed. So yeah, now I'm back, and I hope you are able to hear me and see me properly.
Yeah, you're audible and visible.
Awesome. Let me quickly share my screen and let's get started. So till the time I'm sharing a screen, let's go ahead and kind of understand, where everyone is from. Okay. So, mention your city name, where are you from, your college name in the chat, so that I know where you folks are from. I see a lot of, chat is booming, and yeah, I'm full ready. Oh, that's good. I'm pretty excited for this workshop as well. So yeah, let's go ahead. Okay. Um, I hope you are able to see my screen now. Awesome, awesome. So yeah, Bihar, that's good. SNU, okay. Kolkata. What about others? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, okay, okay. As I see, comments moving in, I'll be kind of taking them up. So yeah, that's awesome. So welcome everyone. My name is Ali Mustafa, and I'm the student community lead here at Postman. I have been part of communities for forever, and I love communities a lot. And hackathons and all these sessions, very much excite me to be part of the ecosystem and then add more and more value to the students, in general. So yeah, I see a lot of people are from Kolkata. That's awesome. So this is the part of the engagement, which I regularly do with students, to kind of incorporate the latest tech and kind of make them understand what's valuable in the near future. So yeah, today we are going to learn about APIs, and to talk about Postman and how Postman enables easy collaboration while working with APIs. So we are going to kind of go ahead, talk about what APIs are, how to work with APIs, kind of send a response, send a request and get a response, and then we will do hands-on exercise. And you please wait till the end, to get some exciting swags. I hope you folks love swags, and that's why we have few challenges which can enable you to kind of get some swags at the end. So wait till the end, to be part of this competition which you're gonna run, and win some awesome swags as well. Apart from the learning which you are already doing. So yeah, what's an API? API in a very very simple sense. If you have like ever been to a restaurant, it's very simple to explain. Okay, so APIs are like restaurants, but the digital form of the restaurant. Okay, so how do you kind of walk around with the restaurant? You go to restaurant, waiter comes in, kind of gives you the menu, and then you order, right? And then that goes to the back end, which is the kitchen, where your food is prepared. So all this abstraction of preparing your food is hidden from you. Okay, so you don't get to see how they cut the onion, how they cook, all the heat and everything inside the kitchen is abstracted from you, and you are just going, sitting on the table, ordering something and getting it on your table. Okay, so APIs are exactly the same. They hide the complete abstraction of the system and enable you to interact with the feature which you're going to kind of use. And as you are going to be kind of participating in a hackathon, you might want to use a lot of APIs. And that's why this session will definitely give you an overall idea around working with APIs as well. So comparing this with our normal systems, you will see we have a client, we have a server, and then API is something which helps these clients to communicate with the servers, and vice versa. So that's about APIs in very simple language. What's the definition of API? The API stands for Application Programming Interface. Okay. So whenever I talk about APIs, that is the definition you will most likely see at most of the places. But yeah, when I talk about like simple version of APIs, what I mean to say is APIs enable interfaces to connect with each other. Okay, what does that mean? An interface can be your mobile phone, okay, or your laptop, or your tablet, or a machine at a train station, right? So if you have ever been to railway stations, you'll see a kiosk where you can book a ticket. Okay, if you have ever been to airports, you'll see like a boarding pass printing machine, and all of these interfaces use APIs to make it possible, to make your lives easier, and so on and so forth. Okay, so they allow you to kind of replicate functionality of another application in your own app, via just kind of utilizing their endpoints and then incorporating in your application. Some popular example of APIs are Spotify API, Twitter API, Facebook has its own API, Google uses its own API, and so on and so forth. So literally everyone kind of have APIs out there which you can kind of go out and try. And if you're a cat fan, you can obviously use the cat API. But if you love dogs more, then you can go ahead and kind of work with dog API. I'm not sure if we have, a Tiger API or a Lion API, but it doesn't hurt to have these APIs as well. It might be a fun adventure. So why do we use API in the very first place? Many of you might ask, why do people kind of go ahead and use APIs? Like, what's the need? In this modern world, you are not the first one who's going to develop that specific feature. For example, login systems, right? Login systems are redundant. Like every website has a login system. Every website has a login system. Every mobile app has a login system, a sign up system. So these things, what if you don't want to replicate it? What you can do is you can just take a piece of software and then use that API to kind of incorporate in your own app, and that will enable that functionality in your own app without much ado. So reusability becomes more and more convenient, and as we are in the phase of modern software development, this is where you are going to reuse your code again and again, internally as well as externally. Okay, a very good example is Instagram. So how many of you use Instagram? Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, all these social media platforms, but very specific to stories. Any platform which has stories on top of them, like for example Snapchat, and all these apps which have kind of stories. um yeah. Okay, I see few responses. Yeah. So when I talk about Instagram, they or a simple social media app. You're gonna go out, and if you want to put a story that you're attending the session, you can go ahead, click a picture, and then kind of post it and flaunt it to your social media followers, right? That you're attending this interesting session. Now, the interesting part there is Instagram does not own GIFs, right? So Instagram does not have a separate wing to produce GIFs. So how are they going to use GIFs? They allow you to use GIFs, right? So they use a public API called as Giphy. Okay. Now you can use that API too, and you can incorporate exactly the same feature of searching GIFs and adding it on top of your image or your keyboard or whatever you want. Basically incorporate that feature exactly in your own application as well with the help of Giphy. So you can see that also big companies use these APIs to kind of incorporate other features which they might not want to develop, and they might want to use an existing feature which is already there and just use their API and then walk around with that. So, I talk about APIs as a Lego bricks. How many of you have played with Legos? Anyone? Have you ever played with Legos? The black plastic blocks. You might have seen it earlier, right? You connect these blocks together and then you can build a car and you can build a bridge and you can build whatnot. Yeah. How many of you have played with it? Me? Okay. Okay. Yeah, everyone, right? All of us, right? We have played with this plastic blocks a lot. I still play with them. Even though I'm 25, I still love to play with them and kind of, get a sense of building stuff. But my favorite part is not building it, but, my little brother, they kind of build something and then I go and just kick it, and then boom. That's my favorite part of all. But imagine these little blocks as APIs. Okay, and then you're iterating parallelly, like you're building stuff parallelly, and then you're integrating these APIs together to kind of get things done very very easily. A very important skill in a hackathon, right? To build separately and then integrate together before the main presentation starts, so that you are able to catch up with all the features which you want to incorporate, right? So yeah, what is Postman then, right? Enough about APIs, right? What about, yeah, Sunita, you know, we are tuning here through that. Awesome. So what is Postman? What is the role of Postman here? So Postman is a collaborative API development platform. I emphasize on the word collaborative because it not just enables you to work with APIs, but also enables your teammates to join you together and then walk around with APIs, build APIs, test APIs, write documentation, write test scripts, and whatnot. Right. So it allows you with a complete suite of API tools which you can incorporate and make your developer journey easier to kind of work with. And Postman is used by 500,000 organizations across the world. It is the go-to tool when it comes to API platform in the industry. And you can see big players like PayPal, Philips, Kroger, Walt Disney. They all use Postman to walk around with their API first approach and to kind of test their APIs, build their documentations and whatnot. So Postman is also a free tool. It's not a paid tool, so you can actually go and sign up freely, and you can kind of do work with APIs and work with public workspaces as much as you want. Up to 3 people, it's free, and then there's a team plan. But then, if you are developing something open source and you want to kind of collaborate with hundreds of people, you can actually do that without paying a penny. So we have something which is called as public workspaces, which allows you to collaborate in open environment where you can collaborate with tens of people, and it's completely git controlled. So you can actually fork a collection, send an update, create a pull request, and everything together. We'll explore some of these features, as we kind of talk about Postman in general. But in a very basic format, if I were to explain someone what is Postman in a very very basic format, I would say them that Postman is nothing but a simple tool which helps you to kind of work around APIs very very easily. And I still remember the days when I used to use Postman as as a Chrome extension, and that was like the go-to tool to kind of just see what the response this API is gonna do, right? So with the call commands, it's very difficult to share, very difficult to analyze, But with Postman, it becomes very easy because that's converted into a UI, and then you can actually go ahead and then walk around with this UI, effectively and share it with your teammates as well. So yeah. Now, talking about APIs, how do we work with APIs? That's like the important part, right? How do you work with APIs? So there are two parts to it. The first part is the request, and the second part is the response. Okay, so the first part is where you send the request to the API, and then the server sends a response, in basically, giving you some data, giving you some information around what happened with your request, which you kind of has sent over. Okay, so let's try to understand that. So a very simple request response pattern looks like this. There's a client uses the network and then kind of calls the server. Basically, it requests something. For example, you go to an ATM, you have a debit card, you insert your debit card, and then it asks for a pin. Now, does that ATM knows your pin? Probably not, right? So if your card is, let's say SBI, and you're going into Axis Bank and then swiping that card, will that card work? Absolutely, it will work. Okay, but does Axis Bank knows your PIN card of ATM? No, they don't, right? Because they are a different bank altogether. So how will they know? Okay, so this is where obviously the ATM has to communicate with your bank to verify your PIN. Okay, and this is where this whole ecosystem kind of works. So the ATM will be like, hey, I have received this card number. This person is saying that he owns the card, and this is the PIN. Can you go ahead and verify it for me, and see if I can provide this user the access to withdraw money or to do XYZ stuff, right? And then the bank will respond back and say that, okay, this pin is right, give access, or give whatever. So the first part, request, and the second part is the bank responding back to the ATM saying that, okay, I know this user, this is my bank account user, and then the pin is right. Go ahead and kind of allow this man to kind of use the ATM. So that's a very simple request response pattern, which kind of literally happens in every API. So when you're making the request, there are three parts: method, address, and path. Okay. So here you can see this is basically where there are multiple methods which you can walk ahead with. So the basic four methods which you will, most probably use in your lifetime is get, post, put, and delete. Get method to retrieve information, post method to send information, put a patch to update information, and delete method to delete information. It's exactly like the code operation in databases. Get to retrieve information, post, send information, put, update information, and then delete to delete information. So that's one part of your request, your complete request. Method is actionable. It tells the server what to do. Okay. So if it's a get method, it will be like, hey server, you need to retrieve information. If it's a post method, it will be like, hey server, you need to kind of take this information which I'm sending you, and then do something with it, and so on and so forth. Okay. Then comes the second part, which is the URL. The URL is also divided into three parts. So here you can see there is the first one is protocol. The second one is basically the domain name or the IP address. And the third one is basically the path where the resource is located. So here you can see the protocol can be HTTP, HTTPS, it can be WebSocket, it can be any protocol, okay, which your obviously API kind of supports, right, which your web server in the end supports. And the second part is the host, the address, where where are you going to look for? Okay, so this is the domain name or the IP address, basically where you are going to send this request to. And then the third part is the path, where you are requesting. What is the path where you are requesting the resource? Where is the resource located in the very first place? To give a very simple example, let me go to Postman com. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you in a very simple example of how you can actually send a request, and kind of walk around with these methods very easily. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my workspace. You don't have to follow this along. This is like a demo. Follow along will be like, starting in 2 minutes. This is almost the last theory part. So see, let's say this is, what I'm looking at. So I'm going to do is I'm going to go to google.com. And then I'm gonna select get method. So you can see get, post, put, patch, and delete. These are like the code operations of API. So I'm gonna select the get method, added the URL, and then let's go ahead and hit send. Now I can see once I send a request, I receive a response. As you can see, I have received a response. I've received some cookies. I've received, the data, test results, header, and then status code and all of that. I'll talk about it a little bit later. So I'll click on preview and I can see the preview here around the Google homepage. Obviously, the CSS is broken, but we can actually use this. Okay, so I can see, I can add and stuff like that. Now let's try to add something in this text box. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use query params. So what I'm going to do is observe very, very carefully. I'll zoom it a little bit for you. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a very simple query param. So I'm going to go and add a query, name it as Q. And then I would mention, let's say, Postman. Okay. So what it did was it added a query param here, and then I'll hit a send, hit an enter, and boom, the text box now has Postman written inside it. But when I search for Postman, oops, when I search for Postman basically on Google, I get this. I get the result page. I don't get this. I don't get this written inside. So what do you think is happening here? What is the mistake which I'm making here? That I'm kind of getting this as a response, and not the search results. I'm just getting the text added into the text box. Anyone? Yeah. No, no, no. That's not the answer. Okay. Anyone else want to give it a try? Yeah. Yeah. So it's absolutely around path. Okay. So see, observe carefully. This is google.com. It means there is only domain. Okay. There's no path. So let me add a path. Let me add a forward slash and let me add search. Okay. And let me hit enter. Let me hit enter again. And what happens now? Oops. Oh, well, it should work. Oh, yeah, it's working. Sorry, I added an extra slash there. So now you can see that it works. And it works and it gives a response exactly as we were expecting it to give. Okay. So yeah, there's your response basically. Okay. Now you will be like, hey Ali, you just kind of did that with so small URL. And Google, on the other hand, has such a big URL. So what are they sending? What are they kind of adding to such a big URL? What you can do in Postman is you can copy this URL, come back to Postman, and paste it here. And then Postman will give you an idea of what parameters they are sending, and then what value of these specific parameters they are sending. So see, the required parameter is only Q, but then they are sending EI, UACT. I don't know what data they are sending, but they are sending a lot of it. Apart from just the Q, which is the required parameter to kind of achieve that, right? So this is basically the required parameter to achieve it, but they are absolutely sending a lot more data. But yeah, for any long URL, you can actually do that in Postman and understand, what actually is happening behind the scenes. Cool. So, one important aspect which I want to add was around body. So as while you're using the put request or the like the post request, you're going to send data to the server. So how are you going to do that? You're going to do that via via a very simple mechanism which is called as body. Okay. So you're going to add a body to your request. Right now we were just sending a get request, so we did not need a body. But if you're sending a post request, you can see there is a body segment here. So I can select raw, or I can select binary body. I can select GraphQL. I can select form data and different types of body which I wish to select basically. As I am using a post request. Okay. So here you can see there are different data types: JSON, text, XML, HTML, and so on. But in this session, we are going to use JSON. JSON means JavaScript Object Notation. JSON. Okay. So JSON is basically where you have key value pair. So there is a key and there's a value. So it's very simple. Key value pair. Okay. So name and then name, email and then email, and then birth year and then birth year. So it's a very simple format, and what we are doing is we are working with REST APIs, and most of the REST APIs use JSON to kind of interact with and work with. Awesome. What happens once you send that information? You receive a response. So as you know that when I send something, right, I received a response, and here you can see the response add status code. So status code, if I hover over it, it says a standard response for a successful HTTP request. Now, you might have heard about one more status code, which is called as 404. Can someone tell me what does 404 means? Come on, be quick. 404. Do you recall 404? You might. It's a very popular code, status code, which you might see, you know, almost now and then. 404. What does that means? Error, not found. Exactly. It says not found. Okay. Basically means that, hey, you kind of send a request, but then, I don't know, the thing which you are requesting, I cannot find it. Okay. Maybe try a different URL, maybe, kind of do something. Okay. I don't know. So that's 404. Then there's 500. Someone knows 500? Yes, yes. What does 500 means? 500 error. Yeah, it means error, yes, but what kind of error? 500. Retry again. Hmm. Okay. 500 means internal server error. Okay. So whatever you are trying to do, the server, did not was not able to handle the request. Maybe because on the back end there was a loose logic or something happened, and server was like, hey, I don't know how to deal with this. So retry. Okay, that's what you can do because I don't know. So all these status code relate to stuff. For example, 200 means basically success. So anything which comes under 200 means your request was successful, and there are just different responses, like 201 means created, 200 means okay, and so on and so forth. Okay. 400 on the other hand means there is a user problem. Server is all good, everything is fine on the server, but user is doing something wrong. Okay, 401, 403, user is doing something wrong. And then 500, family, which is basically there is some problem on the server end. User is doing everything right, everything is present on the server, but then server is doing something wrong. Okay, so there are different families of this status code. You don't need to remember them, but you can actually see here in Postman, and they also give you a hover, and then it will tell you what happens basically. So more or less you will get an idea. Okay, awesome. It's time for practical. We have 15 minutes to do the practical, and that's enough time, by the way. So let me quickly share this in the chat. Okay. So the very first thing which we are going to do is we are going to open documentation. As you know, without documentation, nothing is going to happen. So I'm going to share the URL of documentation again. Folks, I have shared it in the private chat. I don't know if I will be able to send it, on the normal chat. Not sure. So, just FYI, please kind of send that URL in the chat, maybe. Mm, let me try to send it in the chat as well. Okay, they have sent it. Okay, okay, okay. So yeah, this was the first workspace basically. So the second one is the documentation. Use the second URL. Okay, use the second URL. We are gonna kind of once you open that URL, you will see something like this. Okay, so you'll see something like this. This is basically the documentation, and this is auto generated. Okay, I have added only a few things on top of this, and rest of it is auto generated. Okay. So click on run in Postman button. So as you can see, as people are joining this URL, I can actually see them in real time. You can see, I can actually see them in real time. Okay. Obviously, they are anonymous users, but I can see them in real time. So as more and more people join, because as I told you, Postman is not just an API platform, it's a collaborative API platform. That means as more and more people join, as more and more people, be part of this workspace, I'll be able to see them all here. And I can actually comment and kind of work around with them if they're part of my team members. Okay, how awesome that is. So yeah, as you can see, there are 8 to 10 people here. Let's go ahead and let's click on run in Postman button. As you can see, this big orange button, click on that button. Okay. It will open a new tab and it will tell you that, hey, fork your collection. What does that mean? That literally means creating a copy of this collection into your own workspace. Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to create a copy of the collection, which is this collection, into our own workspace. So click on fork collection, and then it will kind of redirect you automatically at this point in time where you just have to add the label and select the workspace. So I'm going to select my workspace. You obviously will see only your workspace if you are a new Postman user. But if you are already like a Postman, you have used Postman earlier, then you'll see multiple workspaces basically. But for people who are new, you will only see my workspace. Now I'll take a pause of a minute here. Okay. So for people who do not have account on Postman, they will be prompted to create an account on Postman. Okay. So yeah, just sign up quickly. It will take a minute for signing up. Just sign up with Google and you're all good. Okay. So yeah, you should see this run in Postman button regardless. But yeah, keep, if you're signed in, you will absolutely see this. If you're not seeing this run in Postman button, you can actually see the fork button on top here. Okay. So you can actually use the fork button directly. So that also works. Anything works. Okay. So taking a minute's break, it's 209. It's 208, 2008. We'll wait till 2009. Yeah, it's free, so you can sign up. Very easy. If you want the floor, it's very very easy. Okay, you can just if I sign out, I'll have to sign in via SSO. So it's like a little bit hectic. So I'm not signing out and showing you how to create an account, but it's very easy. Okay, you can go to postman.com, click on sign up with Google, and you're good. Like you're absolutely good. Okay, awesome. So we have three APIs here: quote, joke, and book. Which one do you want to work with, folks? Come on, like a quick poll. Code, joke, or book? Which one do you folks want to work with? Mm-hmm. Come on, it's very simple. Quote, joke, or book? Which one do you think you want to work with? Joke. Okay, let's go with the joke API. Awesome, awesome. So we are going to work with the joke API, which is the first API here. So you can see this is the base URL. So let's copy the base URL first. Okay, so let's copy this base URL. Let's copy this URL. Control C, copy this base URL. Okay. And then in the forked repository, which you just created, so I'll just do a fork. I did not do the fork. So I did the fork, and now you can see Ali Mustafa's fork here, and you can see a get data request. Okay, you can see one request here, which is called as get data. So click on that get data request, okay, and it will open a new window right here and paste the base URL. Hit enter and tell me what do you see. What is the status code and what do you see as the response? Tell me two things, okay? Okay, I see good number of people following along. That's awesome. Let's keep this going. Yes, yes, yes. What do you see once you paste the base URL and hit send? You see hello world. Yes, exactly. And what's the status code? 200. What does 200 mean? Can someone tell me? What does 200 mean? Yes, everything is okay. So you kind of send a request, you got a response. Exactly. So let's hit joke because we are going to work with the joke API. Let's add a forward slash joke and hit enter and hit send. What do you see in return? Can someone tell me what do you see in return? Yeah. Do you see some awesome jokes? Yes, no. So by default, everyone should be able to see these four jokes. Okay. How did the Coda CEO build his company headquarters? By calling constructor. That's a funny joke. What is a hardware? A part of a computer you can kick. A funny joke. Yeah, right. So you will see one of these four jokes. Okay. So this is random. This is basically random. What you see is random. But if you want to see a specific joke, you can actually add a forward slash and be like, I want everyone to see joke number two. I'll hit enter. And now, because I have added like a path URL. Okay, I have added like a very simple filter. What I can see in the response is everyone will be seeing joke number two. Okay, so that's a very simple filter. So I'll save this request, and now I can kind of retrieve information from the server. So I'm kind of able to do the get request properly. Okay, now it's time to do or add our jokes to the server. Okay, let's do the post request. So let's go here. Let's click on these three dots. Let's hover on this basics of API, click on these three dots and click on add request. Okay, repeating again, hover over the basics of the API, click on these three dots, click on add request. Once you click on add request, you will see then it will ask for a name of the request. Don't keep it nameless. When you were born, parents gave you a name. So I obviously say this every time. Then don't keep your request nameless. Give it a name. So here we are going to add joke. So we'll add joke and put it like that. And now for the obviously base URL, we need to add the base URL as forward slash Joe. Okay, this is going to be the base URL. What is the method am I going to use to add a joke to the server? Can someone tell me? What method should I use to add? I need to send information to the server. Which method am I going to use? Yes, post request. Exactly. Okay, your name is Aku. I don't know if that's your real name, but if it is, that's awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna use post request. No, put is for updating, right? Put is for updating. So we are gonna use post request. Okay, we wanna send something to the server. So then I use post request and then save this before sending it. Okay. Now hit send and tell me what do you see in the response. Hit send and tell me what do you see in the response. Yeah. Yeah, I figured it out. Okay. Hit a send and tell me what do you see and what is the status code. I need to know the status code. Okay, that's important. What's the status code? Come on, come on. What's the status code? It's 400. It says, hey, it's a bad request. Okay, 400. What does it means? Whose error is it? Is it server's error? Is it our error? Whose error is it? It's our fault, right? It's in 400 series, basically. So see, let's read the message. It says message ID not sent. Okay, param ID, location, body. So body is missing, basically. So let's add a body. So let's go to body. But what is going to be the structure of this body? Let's go to the documentation. Let's go to the documentation. In the documentation, we can see that this is how the post request looks like. And this is how the body should look like. Okay. So let's copy the body. Let's copy the body, or you can control C, or you can, use this copy button, or you can use control C, whatever. Let's copy this body. Let's come back. Click on raw. Click on JSON is the body. Remember to do these two things. Click on body, from none, select raw, and then select JSON. Okay. If you don't select JSON, you will repeatedly get 403 error, or sorry, 400 error, which is bad request. Okay. Cool. Now, what next? Change the ID to whatever you want. Change the ID to whatever you want. Okay. Anything integer. Okay. So I'm going to use 101. You can use any number you wish. Don't tell this number to anyone. Keep it in your mind and keep it with you. Whatever integer you want to use, up to 10 digits, use any integer you want. Okay, so 101, 99, if 70 is your favorite number, go ahead with 70, 71, okay, 62, 56, whatever is your favorite number. Okay, And please change your name. Okay, don't become everyone. Don't keep my name, Ali. Everyone. I cannot change my name just for this session, right? I hope you understand. So even though I'll change my last name, I'll say Ali New. Okay, just for FYI. Okay, and then hit send, and obviously save this, right? Hit send. What is the status code do you get? What's the status code? Come on. And here you can see someone used my name already. You see, this is Ali New. So this is my, and then this is someone who added that, right? Who added bugs or features. I can see two requests coming in already. What is the status code, folks? Come on, be quick. Yes, yes, yes. Status code is 201. What does 201 means? 201 means that, hey, you were trying to kind of create something, and we kind of executed it, and we created something on the server. A new resource is created on the server. Okay. And here you can see this is the response, basically the body of how it looks like. Okay. Come on, folks, add your jokes. I cannot see more jokes. I can only see two jokes right now added. I see one more joke added by Akku. Bugs are not features. Huh. Bugs are features, You are not a true developer, Akku. You need to kind of go and revise the development strategy. Bugs are features. Yeah, that's a joke. Okay, bugs are not features, obviously. But yeah. What about others? Where's Dibanjan, Ayan, then Sakshi, I'll start calling one by one your names, okay? Because I see you folks are kind of there, right? So yeah. Okay, I see one from Shark. Oh, Shark has added bugs or features. Okay, that's good. Anyone else adding something? Okay. I'll wait for a minute more. I'll wait for a minute more before we move forward. I'll repeat the process meanwhile, okay? So what we did, we clicked on these three dots, we clicked on add request, then we added the base URL, then we were by default in params, we went to body, then from none, we selected raw, and then we selected JSON from the drop down, pasted the body here, changed the ID. So what happens if I don't change the ID? Let's try, okay? Let's try. Let's hit send. So if I send and I don't change ID, what happens? You can see that joke with ID 101 already exists. Add new ID. Okay. So it basically understands that, hey, joke 101 is added. So let me add 102. Okay. And let me hit send and see if it adds. So I'll say Ali new 2, something like that. Let's hit send. And now you can see it gives me 201. So if I go back here and I refresh it, I can see Ali new 2. I can see from Dibanjan coding is 50% Googling. Exactly. Yeah. Source is basically for where you got this joke from. Okay. So where you got this joke from. So if you see this, how see the first joke and click on view source. Click on view source. What will happen? See, it will open a new tab and give you the source for the joke. Okay. So that's what the basically source is for. Okay. Okay, now that we have done this, it's time to add your unique joke, your funny jokes. But yeah, what we'll do is we'll update our joke, okay, instead of adding a new funny joke. So see, Postman provides very easy replicating feature. So what we are going to do is we are going to replicate this. Very simple. Let's click on these three dots on add joke and click on duplicate. And we have a duplicate request, okay. So let's name it update joke. See how easy it is. What we did was we just added there, we went on add joke and clicked on duplicate. Okay. And it duplicated the request for us. Okay. And now which method are we going to use for updating the joke? Obviously, it's going to be a put method. So I'm going to change it to put method. And then in the body, what change I'm going to make? I'm going to make the change of the joke. So your bugs are features. So I'm going to change it to what? I am a full stack developer. Full stack developer as I pull code from internet. Okay. And then I click on save, and then I click on send. And you can see that I get 204 as the response code. And if I go here and I refresh this window, oops, oh, what happened? Okay, that window kind of went out of the context. Let me reset the zoom. And as you can see, I updated this joke. I'm a full stack developer. I pulled code from internet. Yeah, looks good. Awesome. Now again, there are obviously delete method and then other APIs to try for. So I'll leave you here with this, and obviously you can go ahead and try that. The documentation is obviously it is very well documented, so you'll not face a problem in doing so. It's very easy to do so. Okay, so let me refresh it once and see if anyone else updated the joke. I can't see anyone else who has updated the joke, so we will go ahead and continue with the workshop. So what did we learn about? We learned about methods, addresses, parameters. Now, what is the biggest problem of this API? The biggest problem of this API is that there is no authorization. If your ID is leaked or anyone knows your ID, they can literally go ahead and update your joke without any, without any authorization or anything. And that is a bad approach. Obviously, as a developer, you might not want that to happen to your application. So that's why APIs are not unauthenticated. Most of the APIs are authenticated. They are either authenticated by auto or basic token and so on and so forth. So yeah, as you are kind of completing the journey, make sure you continue your learning experience as a student expert, and you can kind of become a student expert as a journey, like continue your journey as a student expert and then learn more and get certified. Okay. So yeah, continue learning as a student expert. The links will be shared in the chat by the folks of Hack4Bengal. Yeah, I'll also share this URL just in case if you want to kind of have a look at. So you can kind of go ahead and fill this form as need be. So I'll share this URL again probably in the chat, just FYI. In case you want to go ahead and fill it up right now. Talking about swags, there are two challenges which we are running. The first one is to summarize your learning using hashtag Postman Student. So use Twitter or LinkedIn and use hashtag Postman Student to go ahead and share whatever you learned from this session. So yeah, go ahead and kind of do that. And then the second part is blog writing, where you will kind of go ahead and write a full-fledged blog around your experience with this. We'll select total of 5 winners, and that will be selected by the organizers. So contact organizers in case something is unclear. Repeating the competition again, social media challenge, use hashtag Postman Student on Twitter or LinkedIn, and then walk around with that. Or blog writing, where you can kind of go ahead and write a blog around whatever you learned during this session, including the delete request. Okay, because that's what I left it on to you to complete. Okay. So yeah, thank you so much, for attending the session. I hope you enjoyed it, and have a good day. Bye. Yeah, Hat for Bengal folks, you can kind of take it over. And yeah, you can obviously, if you have any questions, we have our Discord server where you can kind of come and kind of, be part and ask questions and so on and so forth. Okay. So I'll just share the invite right into the chat, in case you want to join our Discord server as well. Oops, I guess I copy pasted the wrong URL. Okay, folks, thank you so much for attending. Bye bye. Have a great day. Uh, I guess Sunajana is here. Okay. Bye bye, folks.
Yeah. I hope you all have enjoyed the session. This was really a informative session and wonderful session. I would thank sir for this wonderful session, and I guess now you are confident with the term API, how Postman provides a way to use it more efficiently, and how we can use APIs to build a performant and secure application. So before leaving, I would request you all to fill up our feedback form, and let me remind, tomorrow the Hack for Bengal is going to be live. And for every successful submission, we guarantee you for a free swag. So it's time for you all to test your skills, develop something, and get reward for that. eager to experience your innovation from young people like you. And that's it. I would request the volunteers to post the feedback form in the comment. And don't forget to join us in our Discord server to stay updated with us from tomorrow. And we will meet you guys soon. Thank you for joining. Meet you all at Hack4Bengal. Thank you.